And after a good few weeks of preparation that they've been together, but they can't wait to get out there and get cracking with the tournament.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's always exciting coming back in to any Six Nations, and you know it's a big year ahead for everybody. But the Six Nations is such a special competition in its own right. It's biggest competition in the world annually. So when you come in, 3-4 weeks ago, there is that excitement. But then obviously as the game gets closer, realisation kind of gets in, and it's about tightening the belt a little bit around, dotting I's, crossing T's, and just understanding exactly how we want to play. So, yeah, we just want to get going now.
In terms of the way you want to go and play, where do you see the development of this team coming over the next few weeks?
I think this is an exciting group in terms of how they're playing. They're evolving in terms of obviously cap numbers. We've got a lot of experience, but there's a lot of youth in there as well. There's some new players have been brought into the squad. As you saw with the squad announcement, there was 9 uncapped players coming in, which is really exciting. It freshens things up. It also pushes intensity at training, and I think the way we've been training above the game regularly, and pushing that intensity. There's a lot of speed. We've got a back three who are really quick. We've got a really good midfield, and we've got some real abrasive forwards in there now as well. So we're able to change up how we want to play now, and I think that's probably the most exciting thing.
Holly makes her debut in the second row, and she's a debutant. She's got a lot of experience as well. How happy were you first to get her in, and now that she's ready to come straight into the team?
Yeah, we've had our eye on her for a little while, and we've made it very clear to anybody around selection this year it's based on performance, and she's performed particularly well at Bristol. She is probably a different style of second row than we've had previously. She is abrasive. She's a hard ball carrier. She's very good set piece wise as well. So it's a nice blend that we have now in the second row, and genuinely her performance have really pushed her into frame. You're right to also say that she's experienced. She has been involved with England at 20. She was involved in their Six Nations squad last year as well. But she is. As soon as I spoke to her, she's been desperate. She's been really excited to be involved with the group, and she's fitted in really well.
We talked about the depth of competition you have in the back row. Having Jade and Alex to call on from the bench just shows that the level of quality that you have there.
Yeah, I mean there's some real talent on the bench, isn't there? Some good cap numbers on the bench as well, and experience to go on the bench. And it's you look at any international game now. You watch the men's Six Nations just over the last 6 weeks. You look at, I suppose, what's coming as well. It's a real 23-player game now. It's really important that everybody understands their role, their responsibilities, whether it be from minute 1 or minute 40. You can change the way you want to play, and to have that experience to come off the bench. Alex Stewart was outstanding last year in her first game against Wales. Jade Conkle has played particularly well for Harlequins this year and has done for Scotland. And then you look at the front row experience as well, and yeah, it's nice to have that and nice to have those options.
You had the better of Wales last year over a couple of meetings. How does it change anything with the dynamics of this rivalry?
No, it doesn't. I think the games against Wales historically have been really tight. They've been physical, and they've always come down to a score. It's always come down to kind of last plays, as it was in Cardiff last year. We beat them for the first time away from home in 20 years last year. It shows how this team are evolving. It shows how this team are growing. But to win games like that, it is about, it's small margins. So we've concentrated really hard on what those small margins could be, but also focus on ourselves. And we want to be, that's the most important thing, is be the best versions of ourselves this weekend.
And lastly for me, just how important is it to get off to a winning start with momentum in this competition?
Momentum's so important. I think also having a home game to start as well is, it's great to play at Hive Stadium. I believe there's some good ticket sales for the game as well. And to show everybody how far we are progressing is really important for us. And for us to put in a performance in front of our own crowd this weekend, it does set the ball rolling. It does get you into momentum for the rest of the competition. But we are purely focused on Wales this weekend, and that's it.
Chris, there's several reasons why you might have gone 6-2. Well, one of them being Evie's return and her versatility.
Yeah, she's really versatile. I think she's shown this year how You know, she's a 12. She's played, you know, regularly at 12, but she can play at 10. She can really pull the strings. I think the way she plays at 12 as well is more like an old kind of school second five. She's a distributor. She can also kick. We've also got kickers across the back line now. You know, you look at Evie Wills, you've got Lisa Thompson, you've got Helen Nelson. Back three are kicking a lot more now as well. Chloe's an excellent kicker. So we've got, you know, there's loads of different permutations that we could have. So that versatility of Evie certainly helps. And, you know, we've got other players who, you know, if need be, can shift position, and it would make no difference to us at all.
We also got a couple of significant absences in the back.
Yeah.
Has that made any difference to your thinking?
Obviously, you look at opposition. It's really important to look at opposition. It's obviously we look at opportunities and threats. We've been really clear around what the opportunities could be, and we've also clear on what the threats can be. Whoever is playing for them, you know, they're always abrasive. They never go away. They're always at you. They've got strengths from 1 to 15, albeit with a couple of players missing. They'll still, you know, they've still got players. They've got depth, and they can bring others in as well. So yeah, look, we have looked at it. Not going to shy away from that, but we're also aware of the talent that they have that could be brought in as well.
Brian, is one of the threats that Wales pose the fact that you've got a new coach who's just in the door and could either sort of stick to what they've done before or twist a new game plan, I suppose.
Well, that's always the kind of fear around when you're analysing an opposition is, you know, did we watch Wales or did we watch Gloucester? You know, it's really interesting. We've watched both. You obviously have to understand the individuals that are in teams, but you also have to understand the style of coaches that are coming in. There's always a new coach bounce. There's always the excitement of a new coach coming in, but I'll be honest, there's a big difference between club rugby and international rugby, and you know, international rugby is, you know, it's a different beast. I think the way the Six Nations is growing as well, the kind of pressures around international rugby are so important. So look, it's, you know, Sean's a good guy. He's done, you know, really well at Gloucester Hartpury, and congratulations on that. But we're really concentrating on what we think could happen, but that's why this week has been really important for us to concentrate more on ourselves than it is the opposition.
You mentioned all these qualities. The fact that these games are normally tight, physical,
Yeah.
that kind of play that you're thinking in terms of her getting the nod?
We've looked at it tactically. I'll be honest. You know, we've looked at our selection tactically around how we want to play without giving away too much. I think you look at tactically on the bench as well. We've got some real opportunities to come on. So yeah, there are different reasons why certain players are playing. We have got a real squad now, and it's nice to be able to make selections based on how we want to play, but also a selection that we believe is the team that will go out and perform the best it can be. So to have the opportunity of somebody like Holly coming in who just brings that little bit of abrasiveness, who brings that kind of contact edge, and you know, she's coming in. It's great to see somebody new coming in who drives standards. I really like that. She's been excellent in meetings. She'll ask really intelligent questions because she wants to know, she wants to get better. And driving standards in this group is really important.
Set piece obviously seems to have been a bit of a fool. Was that something you identified last year as a weakness or a work?
We work on everything in terms of we want to chip away at what we believe our strengths are and what we believe our identity is, but it doesn't really matter what your identity is unless you win your set pieces. So, you know, Fraser Brown has been excellent since coming in with us. He's worked really hard with the scrum. Really worked hard on not just the scrum 8 on 8, but obviously their resilience. They're working the gym around how we improve core stuff. Line-out stuff's been the same. There's been a lot of detail work. Again, a lot of meetings to kind of work out around where our strengths are. So, look, set piece is really important, but we've got some really good players within that. You know, you've got Sarah Bonner, who's been, you know, calling line-outs down at Harlequins. You've got Rachel Malcolm, who's been doing it at Loughborough. You've got good scrummagers who are playing week on week in PWR as well. So, you know, I think pulling together, working on that set piece has been a focus, and it's something that, you know, we want to go after a little bit as well.
I guess that makeup of the bench, you know, you've got Jade, who's got loads of experience, 2 props, have got loads of experience. Does that show the kind of growth of the team that you've now got that kind of strength and depth, I suppose?
Absolutely, and I think you look at Anne Young and Eliane Clark, this is the first Six Nations start. You know, they got their first starts over in WXV, but this is their first Six Nations start. You know, Anna's been around the group for a long time, but she's grown so much. She's a very good rugby player outside set piece. You know, she's a very good ball handler, defensively good, contact's good, but she's really improved her set piece. Which, when you look at Leah, who is a very good set piece scrummager, very good lifter at line out, it does show the strengths that we have. There are opportunities to look at different front rows. Eliane, again, another one who's just growing and getting better week on week. But you've got Christine Belisle, who's on the bench, who's got a huge amount of experience as well. Alice Martin, again, another one who's just, you know, she's growing every time she plays the game. She's worked really hard off the field. Her throwing is really consistent. So to have a front row that you could change on block if we needed to, I totally agree with you. I think it shows the growth of this group.
Just a word on Adele Ferry on the bench. It's a great story for many reasons, I guess.
Yeah, it's a brilliant story, isn't it? I mean, she started playing rugby. Well, she was from Dumfries and then went up to Dundee, I believe, and then into Morgan and Howe Fife, and she'll got a lot of experience up there within those groups. And she's again another one who, you know, she just fights away. She just fights her battles around what she's good at. She knows where her strengths lie. She's worked really hard physically as well. I think she's performed. We looked at her last year. I thought Celtic Challenge, she was excellent last year, but again, she stepped up again. And she's physical. So I think what we're doing is we're growing a group of players that are, you know, they're physical, they're abrasive, they understand set piece, but they're also good around the pitch, which kind of suits us. So yeah, she brings something different. Both, you know, her, Holly, Becky Boyd's come in as well from Loughborough. You know, the three of them have got a lot of potential, and to work with the senior players that we have, I think you'll see growth in this group.
I guess seeing somebody who's not been in sort of high performance environments a lot to come in and get a bench spot shows, you know, she must have worked really hard to get to this point.
Yeah, and she hasn't been involved. You know, I think you look at Adele. She's still full-time employed. She's working in the courts. You know, we had to obviously work to make sure that everything was fine around that, and you know, we've got some great people at Scottish Rugby who are able to work with the players on that. And that's new for her. You know, to go from, you know, getting to work, but then coming in here and seeing the differences in a high-performance sport is, especially probably at the start of this week, we front load a week. We go pretty hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then as it tapers down, and it'll be new to her. And you know, I've not seen her this morning; she's probably still sleeping. So, yeah, I think it's just getting used to that environment. She's certainly not looked out of place, which is great. Again, another one like Holly, intelligent questions, wants to get better, wants to understand how to improve. And I think when you come into an environment like this, you just want to make sure you're back in it. And if you want to be in it, you've got to work hard, and that's what we want to do. We want to keep sharpening ourselves on a day-to-day basis.
And Lana and Emma haven't played for a while, but I guess they're both experienced players.
Yeah, both really experienced players, and you know, Lana's she's been on a journey since that calf injury, and you know, she's one that we do understand that with Ellis on the bench as well, we've got to kind of look after her. But the way we train and the way we have been training is we've been going pretty hard on each other. We went full contact yesterday for a block. Contact was good on Tuesday. So although you're not playing, that's our job as coaches, is to make sure that they're battle hardened before going into a game. So we've no fears on either of them.
Yeah, and Lana's 75 caps, and 7th to do that. Yeah, I guess that shows her longevity.
Yeah, it does. I think Lana, she believes she'll be playing for a long, long time, and the way she looks after her body, I certainly wouldn't disagree with her. I mean, the injury she had, that she got last year's Six Nations as well. She had a knee injury last year's Six Nations, and how she works on her rehab and how she works on everything in terms of her body away from rugby allows her to have that longevity. Again, with the calf injury, it's, you know, she's really impressed us all with how she's managed to get herself ready, and she's been able to train fully for the last while. So yeah, we've no doubts or no fears that she'll put in a performance this weekend, as she always does for Scotland.
Just on the 6-2, Brian, what's the backup if the worst happens? Have you had one of the scrum halves running on the wing, or is there a...
Well, the way players play now, the way scrum halves play now, they play on an edge anyway. They would defend on an edge anyway. So, like, yeah, we have looked at it. We understand exactly what our strengths are with the 6-2 split. We're happy with it, that we're able to look after players as well. But you know, players are really interchangeable now in the way that we want to defend or how we want to attack. They understand how we play. So, you know, I've got no fears if, you know, for worst case scenarios. But that's what coaches do. We look at worst case scenarios and we look at scenarios through the week anyway. So, I think the 6-2 split for us is exciting to be able to do it. We've got the players to be able to do it now and, you know, look at it from a week-to-week basis, but this week I think it suits us.